slow and silent.
Huh? Moedred. Corner of Moedred's lab rests a large withered trunk. It seems likely to contain something important, if only by virtue of its size. Anamancer scribbles feverishly at the parchment scrolls while his free hand dances through the air, counting off unseen objects. His lips move in silent discourse. As your shadow falls over his scrolls, he looks up at you with mingled perplexity and irritation.
God's keep.
Can I help you? He forces a polite smile. What are you working on? My area of focus is witch, more specifically how to cure them. A witch. A holoborn who received a transplanted animal soul during infancy. One of the Animancy's early efforts to cure the legacy. It's not a successful one. No, it's not. Again, I don't understand why you would want to put animals inside little babies, boys and girls. I just don't get that one. He removes his spectacles and wipes his brow. They show signs of developmental abnormalities throughout their childhood, but when they reach adolescence, they become aggressive, feral, but still victims in need of care. Transplanting animal souls into children seems like an odd solution. Definitely. We Animancers were trying to do something about the crisis, better than letting it swallow a generation of children. I don't know about that. He stares at the fixed point on the far wall, and despite the controversy, it only went so far because at first it seemed to work. People called it the salvation. Children that had never been responsive to any kind of stimuli suddenly seemed aware of their surroundings, of their families. He takes a slow breath. The complications don't begin until puberty, but that's when the incompatibilities between body and soul take shape. Children become violent, ravenous. But we paid dearly for our mistake. I promise you, angry mobs hunted down Animancers and burned down their homes, with them still inside, often as not. People took to calling it the cruel salvation, and many still loathe us for it. Absolutely. But we wanted to stop the legacy as much as anyone. The public begged for our help, and we did the best we could. I still don't know if that absolves us. No, I don't think it really does. Why do you study Wicks? What kind of question is that? Just think of all the families that could be healed, the lives that could be restored. What could be more important? His face has reddened, and he turns away from you for a moment. He shakes his head. Animancy has an answer, I know it. It's simply a matter of working it out. I'm looking for an expert. I hear that Felarian Ruby studies there. If I take this, he's going to kill me. Let's put that to the test. Put that to the test, shall we? Examine the trunk. Nothing grabs your attention except for the large padlock on the front. Whatever this Animancer keeps in here, he does not want anyone else to have to see it. Open the trunk. A heavily lock holds the trunk shut. It's too sturdy to break, and then the mechanism looks too complicated to pick. You need to find the key.
Margaren's fire casts light.
Yes?
For a second, I don't get inside that. That'd be quite funny. Alright, so in there. There's definitely something away back there as well. Something over here.
Keeping quiet.
So like I said, there was a statue up there. So. Yeah, I do think that's somebody's talking down below, and like I say, why would people be there? Statue. Head Warden Ethelmoer, a well-maintained statue of a middle-aged man, presides over the room, looking down and blinking over the bustle of hurried academics pestered by the helpful desperate. A strong warmth emanates from it that you could sense from across the room. There's a human soul stored beneath the stonework. You feel its attention turned towards you. It has been some time since a watcher graced these halls. His voice echoed deeply, rumbling the floor beneath you. I am envious of your natural insights, traveller. I can only imagine how it might have helped my work in life. Now, what is it that brought you to my sanatorium? You may have a member of the leading key in your midst. Ethelmoer groans and the stone around him shudders. I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are perpetual nuisance. Once again, I'm reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. You're at odds with the leading key as well, I take it. They have something I need. I hope it is knowledge you seek. There are seldom keen to part with it. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? I suspect it's a patient. Very well, in that case, I would recommend you speak first with our residents animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here in our offices downstairs. If you report anything suspicious to me immediately, this is my only request. I'm curious as you've come to be in your present state. In the statue, you mean? Well, he laughs. I was old, and it seemed wrong to me, a lifetime spent in pursuit of discovery, only to lose it all in death. Somewhere, someday, I would wake up in a new body, none the wiser, and pursue a different course entirely. All the experience wasted. If we are ever to unearth the principles behind our existence, it will be the spite of our condition, of that I am quite sure. To live on as part of something I helped build seemed to be a better legacy than what nature had in store. The transfer itself was quite simple, as our techniques go, and for that I am grateful. Playing with souls is far easier to accept when they are not your own. I do miss being able to take an active role in the scholarly efforts be here. Now and again, one of our animators will humour me and consult over some problem, but they are a jealous breed and are too often afraid to collaborate. If you are considering it yourself, I can tell you that it isn't for the easily bored. Tell about the sanatorium. A history lesson. This is a rare pleasure, most common here only concerned with cheating death in one way or another. We are all old institutions. We are an old institution as Deerwood goes. This is our 94th year, and with many cities, the growth of Divine Spray brought it with a host of problems. One of the worst was those born with, shall we say, ill-favoured souls, came to populate the streets in droves. Thus, the sanatorium. Blackenberry was a natural fit. It was growing, but there was also a lot of money here back then. This place owes its survival to the curiosities of the wealthy more than anything, I think. Our founding came at a time of great suspicion and animancy, much like today. So much progress has been lost to the mishaps of a few careless practitioners. Well, it seems like there was a lot of practitioners, truthfully. But in time it was forgotten, as all things are. Since then, we have been at the forefront of animancy's resurgence. We have placed host to many gifted researchers. and push the boundaries of our knowledge in ways never thought possible. Some of the first safe transferences were done here, and we have pioneered work in soul purification, lineage analysis, preservation, preservation. Uh, really, quite a list, if you're pardon my pride. Well, I don't know. One of them, the animals and boys and girls, and that didn't work out really, really well. And then you got the other ones like, yeah, but the others are fine, so, you know, yeah. Today it's, well, I can't say it's exactly the same. There's been some push to shut us down. It comes from Deerwood's most excitable citizens, whose minds are more passionate than thoughtful, I'm afraid. Well, so if I had my way, I would be slaughtering you all. I'm just saying that. People see this legacy and they see it involves something they don't understand. So it's natural for them to suspect people who understand exceeds theirs. It looks to them like we're hiding something. It certainly feels like it. We have a representative in the palace at this very moment, defending the entire science of animacy at a hearing before the duck. Absurd as it sounds. If it does not go well, it could be the end of animancy in Deerwood. I feared Ivar may have be swayed by all this unrest. Irrational thought it may be, we shall see. Does anyone here know anything about the awakenings? There's an animancer downstairs. Suspicious activity.
Right. Hail, traveler.
Bald man with a crooked nose gestures in demonstration over the still body of a patient before a small gathering of interested onlookers. Feeling your gaze, he pauses his decision. Have you come to sit in? Is he going to put like an animal in his body? Has anything unusual or suspicious been happening around here? I mean, suspicious? They're putting things in things, okay? He shakes his head. Definitely not up here. We can't be scaring off visitors and potential clients, you know. His voice becomes quiet. Downstairs is where most esoteric research is done. I check with the animancers there. Yeah, so that guy that we spoke to, I guess that's what we're on about.
Well met, friend.
Hello again. I'd like to know more about the sanitarium. It's the mission that attracted me here. The treatment of the disturbed. No one else seems to care about them. Here, they worked wonders for them. I've seen people cured of insatiable hungers and uncontrolled urges. I've seen the crippled walk and dysphoric smile, all within these walls. The thought that the doc could put an end to it with a single order, it keeps me up at nights.
How do you do?
What is it you do here? Close as we are to the Glyphathan Wilds, we get a number of biowick maimings every year. Survivors dealing with complications from exposure. This fellow here is a severe case. His essence is a mere whisper of what it was. I am early in my research, only beginning to understand how they work, but in time I hope to find a way to protect people from the storm's effects. I don't see that happening.
Greetings.
Do you know anything about awakenings? I'm afraid that's not my area of expertise, but we know where to go.
Yeah.
I did not see that. Note from Azul. Ripley, I required more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the sanitarium stores. I don't have the time to deal with the head warden's inevitable question.
Welcome.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the book in front of her. Row by row, her motions quick and skittish, like a bird. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startle me. How are you supposed to be in here? What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azul set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organised, since he's too busy to do it himself. Is there anything else? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me, I'm just Master's Azo's assistant. But there's a visiting scholar from Bravena here, named Besiege. She claims to know more about them.
I'll see what I can do. The work of a moment.
North Warden, the Pale Lady. Subject is a female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression, resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. North Ward, subject is a male, approximately early 30s, powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of the over-fragmentation of his soul. As such, he is ideal subject for a present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. The Midnight Man. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusion tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude the possibility of further use in present research. And Ushgrim. Subject is a male, approximately 17 years of age, admitted for episodes of catatonia, followed by occasionally violent outbursts. Well, if you're not sleeping for a while, you're going to be angry, aren't you? Initial analysis of soul reveals severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. The man who waits.
Hello!
Found records that also may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Cadman Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorised to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cadman. I'd hope he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I am granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter. I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask you that you also do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough. Yeah. Okay. Looks like we're killing some people. Probably going to find this key here as well, no doubt. Her spine twists this woman's posture forward. Her grizzly hair draped over her large eyes like veins. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Yeah. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. What do you know about this Animancer Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many Animancers could care less about those patients. Look at us, like vermin for the experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even if very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they do to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened? Freyol's eyes dart back and forth, and her eyes lowers to just above a whisper. I don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was his ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash, even if it was a bit of showman. He loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How do you put it? A proxy. I think he called it, had some machine that drew energy out of the fairy ether. Can you imagine? The point is, I was hoping to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. God knows that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Audra's gift? Call them boys. Boys? 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 As in boys. Because of many of them I've found, there you go, floating face down in the water. Those are mad times. Anyway, Master Aso had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in the Copperlands. He was very excited. And then the next day, he was locked in his office, turning away visitors. I heard, and he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Well, they're not. Where I might find them? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Has any of the patients been acting unusual? Well, there's Vortixa, who lives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idamant, who they say only has half a soul, and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behaviour, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has only our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seemed to me it's gotten quieter over these there since it started. It's grand I see them taking in the most. Struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. So I've got to read on Graham again. I'd like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Aso. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Why are you here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. You can tell me. I'm going crazy too. You shouldn't tease. No one in here can help what they are. I know I've tried. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I do not try to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can I do? I moved into a tiny place in Audr's gift. Got by mending clothes and on the kindest of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noble woman comes in. Wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing. The shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I looked at it and it reminded me of something. I had what they called an awakening. I remembered being a noblewoman myself in another life, people doting over me, men doting over me, the best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you never dare to dream of. They were mine. I was poisoned. It was poison, knowing that. All those things I had that I've never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. Seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me. But I can't get past it and I start to wonder, did the gods choose this life for me? If so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then I know. The strange part is, I think even the best wouldn't be good enough for me anymore. I think it must have gotten to that point when I was that noble lady.